something has changed in the Mariana Trench.
For decades, the Hadal zone, the deepest layer of the ocean, was believed to be a silent graveyard, a place too cold, too dark, and too pressurized for anything complex to survive.
But in February 2026, during a classified survey of a newly mapped trench sector unofficially named the Mariano Iduba region, that silence ended. At 10,984 meters below the surface, near Challenger Deep, the deep-sea submersible Vesper 4 encountered something that challenged everything we thought we understood about physics and biology.
Its floodlights cut through marine snow, organic debris drifting like cosmic dust, making the abyss look like a frozen galaxy.
Inside the cockpit, 3 researchers monitored sonar returns.
Then the returns began to fade. Not scatter, fade. The acoustic pings weren't bouncing back, they were being absorbed.
Something massive was dampening the sound waves before they could return to the vessel. It wasn't rock, it wasn't sediment, it was moving, circling the submersible with slow, rhythmic precision.
This was the first recorded contact with what researchers now refer to as the Mariano Iduba Signal.
The Mariana Trench stretches over 1,500 miles across the western Pacific near Guam.
At Challenger Deep, pressure exceeds 16,000 pounds per square inch, more than 1,000 times the pressure at sea level.
Temperatures hover just above freezing. Sunlight has never reached here.
For years, scientists believed life at these depths would be limited to microbes. They were wrong. In 2012 and 2019 expeditions, researchers documented amphipods the size of rats and the ghostly Mariana snailfish living nearly 8,000 meters down.
More than 90% of deep-sea species use bioluminescence, producing their own light through chemical reactions.
Anglerfish carry living lanterns.
Comb jellies shimmer in cascading rainbows. But the 2026 signal wasn't a flicker. It was a moving constellation.
The trench was forged through subduction when the Pacific Plate slid beneath the Mariana Plate over 180 million years ago.
Subduction zones are violent geological engines. They create earthquakes, volcanoes, and hydrothermal vents, underwater chimneys that release mineral-rich fluids heated to over 400 degrees Celsius.
These vents power ecosystems independent of sunlight.
When the asteroid struck 66 million years ago and wiped out the dinosaurs, the deep ocean remained relatively stable.
It did not burn. It did not freeze. It endured. While life on land restarted, trench ecosystems continued evolving in isolation for tens of millions of years.
Use the Mariano Iduba Signal as a supergiant Siphonophore colony, as preliminary analysis suggests, then it may be the product of uninterrupted deep evolution under crushing pressure.
When Vesper 4 increased illumination, the crew finally saw its outline, a chain of glowing segments extending beyond the camera's field of view.
Initial scaling analysis estimated the organism exceeded 45 meters, nearly 150 feet long. For comparison, the largest known Siphonophore colonies recorded in 2020 measured over 40 meters. This was larger. Siphonophores are not single animals. They are colonial organisms composed of thousands of genetically identical units, each specialized for feeding, propulsion, or reproduction. In the abyss, this colony appeared denser, thicker, reinforced.
Bands of blue-white light pulsed in synchronized waves along its length, and the hydrophones recorded something extraordinary, a low-frequency harmonic resonance. Structured, layered, intentional.
The colony wasn't just drifting. It appeared to be using acoustic vibration to map the submersible, the way bats use echolocation in air. For 90 seconds, 2 technologies of different worlds studied each other.
A 150-foot predator in the deepest part of Earth changes everything.
We're continuing to track declassified expedition logs and acoustic datasets from the 2026 dive. If you want early access to new analysis and possible release footage of these abyssal titans, subscribe and enable notifications.
Now, back to the genetic mystery.
To survive in the Hadal zone, biology must solve a problem physics never compromises: pressure.
High pressure destabilizes proteins and damages DNA.
In 2026, researchers collected environmental DNA, microscopic genetic fragments suspended in water near the signal site. They identified over 7,000 previously undocumented genetic sequences. Among them, repeated variations of advanced DNA repair genes.
These mutations appear to enhance molecular stabilization under extreme compression, effectively allowing cells to continuously repair structural damage in real time. This suggests that Hadal megafauna may possess biological reinforcement systems unknown in surface life.
Not just new species, new strategies for existence.
But not every terror in the trench is colossal.
Baited landers deployed during the expedition recorded swarms of amphipods, crustaceans typically no larger than a fingernail.
Here, some measured nearly 30 centimeters long.
Deep-sea gigantism is a real biological phenomenon. In cold, high-pressure environments, certain invertebrates grow far larger than their shallow water relatives.
The footage is relentless. Within minutes of deployment, the bait was consumed.
Within hours, nothing remained.
In the abyss, scarcity drives efficiency. Nothing is wasted.
During the final dive, Vesper 4 tracked the glowing Siphonophore into a fracture along the trench wall, an unmapped cavern system carved by tectonic stress.
The colony moved slowly, deliberately.
As the sampling arm extended, the lights along its body extinguished instantly.
The sonar collapsed. Hydrophones captured one final heavy pulse. Then silence. When illumination returned, the water column was empty. No thermal trace, no acoustic return. It hadn't fled upward, it had folded into geological shadow. We have mapped Mars in greater detail than much of our own ocean floor.
The Mariana Trench is not a void. It is an ancient living system.
And even here, at nearly 7 miles down, microplastics have been detected in sediment samples.
The survivors of past mass extinctions are now encountering a new variable: humanity. Somewhere in the dark, the Mariano Iduba Signal may still be pulsing, waiting. If this organism truly represents the largest Siphonophore ever recorded, then we are only beginning to understand the scale of life hidden beneath us. The abyss is not empty, it is undiscovered.
And in 2026, something answered back.